Welcome to my channel. So in this video we are going to talk about the thermodynamics and the aspects of the thermodynamics. So first of all, what does thermodynamics actually do? So thermodynamics is nothing but the interaction of one body with the another body in terms of the quantity of heat and work. The quantity of heat and work. So it is the interaction of one body with another. Say this is body A and this is body B. Okay, so the interaction between these two in terms of quantity of heat and work. In terms of quantity of heat and work is nothing but the thermodynamics. Thermodynamics deals with the heat and work and the interaction between them. Now we have to understand certain concepts in thermodynamics. Say what is system, what is surroundings, and what type of systems are there, what is boundary, etc. Let's discuss one by one. System. First of all, we will discuss about the system. System is nothing but, so wherever you are carrying out the experiment, that is thermodynamic experiment, the part of the universe under study is called as system. The part of universe which is under study. Say for example, we are living in a, say for example, you are living in a particular house and you are carrying out the experiment in that particular house, then that is said to be the system. So other than the system, remaining place is nothing but surroundings. Surrounding. Okay, system under study, part of the universe under study. So the remaining part of the universe which is not under study is nothing but the surroundings. So there exists another thing in between system and surrounding, that is nothing but boundary. Boundary. So you know very well. So say consider this is a system and remaining thing is surroundings. So the boundary exists between the system and the surrounding. So that boundary may be real or imaginary sometimes. Okay, that boundary may be real or imaginary. If it is real, it is a real boundary, then we can say that it is visible to our naked eye. Visible to naked eye. Okay, so whereas imaginary means it is not visible to our naked eye. You can take water. You can take water and add 2 to 3 drops of oil. Add 2 to 3 drops of oil. You can see the perfect separation of the two layers and you can see the boundary where they are separating. So that is nothing but real boundary. That means which you can see. And another one is imaginary boundary. So say you take water. You take water, fill it with half. Take a tumbler and fill half of it with water. So there exists a boundary between air and the water molecules on the surface, right? There exists an imaginary boundary. We cannot say that there is no boundary. There exists a boundary between the air and this particular water, right? And the surface of the water. And see, the boundary may be sometimes rigid and sometimes flexible. Okay, so you can take a closed box. See, all the boundaries are fixed here. All the boundaries are fixed. It is a closed box. It is a closed box and all the boundaries are fixed here. So you can take body with piston, any tumbler with piston. So it is a flexible one. You can move the piston upward or you can move the piston downward. So it is a flexible one and the boundary is flexible boundary, right? And the boundary is the flexible boundary. Now you know what is system, what is surroundings, and what is boundary. Now we will understand state functions and path functions, mainly what are the function and the thermodynamic processes involved in it, right? So there are two different types of boundaries. One we can say that it is diathermic and adiabatic. So see here, whenever we talk about the adiabatic, the net heat, that is the change in heat, is always equal to 0. That means there is no exchange of heat here, right? So diathermic means here the exchange of heat happens. Say for example, take a glass of water, hot water you can take here and keep it for a while. See, the temperature inside the water, the hot water becomes what? Room temperature, right? So the temperature gradually decreases. So that is with respect to diathermic, but with respect to adiabatic, you can take sealed thermoflask where there is no net change in the heat. So that type of system, closed thermoflask you can take, okay, where there is no net exchange of heat. So this is diathermic boundary and adiabatic boundary. Now we will see the types of systems. It is important. Types of system. So first one is open system. Open system. Types of systems we are talking, right? So open system. In open system, there is exchange of heat, there is exchange of energy. There is exchange of energy, and we can exchange matter also. We can exchange matter also. That is nothing but, you can take a glass of water. That water is nothing but, what is that? Matter. That water is nothing but matter. You can decrease the water or increase the water. So you can change the matter. What about energy? You can heat it or cool it for an open system, right? So next one is closed system. Closed system, where you can change energy. Exchange of energy happens. Exchange of energy is also happening in closed system, but matter is not exchanged. Matter not exchanged between system and surroundings, right? Matter is not exchanged, but only energy is exchanged. Another third one you can take is, that is insulated. Insulated, you should remember, is energy is also not exchanged. No energy. Energy not exchanged, and as well as what? Matter is also not exchanged. Matter also not exchanged. Both are not exchanged. So this you can take the thermos flask, right? Or you can take, what is that? Hot box you can say, right? Where there is no net change in the energy and as well as the matter. It is the perfect insulated one. You can represent the insulated one like this. Okay, so this is a insulation. This is insulation, and here our matter is present. So see here, no energy exchange and no matter is also exchanged in an insulated system. These are the three types of systems. Now we should understand what is state function and what is path function. So before discussing what are state functions and what are path functions, let's discuss what is state and what is path. Say for example, a process, consider A is becoming B. A process where A is becoming B. So now we will discuss what is state. State is nothing but, it depends only on the functions which depend only on initial and final states. The functions which depend on only initial and final states. Okay, say for example, internal energy you take. So don't take internal energy, we will discuss later about the internal energy in detail. So you can take the example of another. So enthalpy, whatever you take. So the system depends only on initial and final state. Say for example, you take temperature. Temperature you take at the beginning of, at the beginning you can say that T0 temperature, right? Where there is no change in the temperature. But what happens after some time? What if you heat it? T0 will become T1 or something else. So it is the state function which depend on initial and final states. What about the path function here? What is the path function? So path function, it does not depend on the state. It does not depend on state. Okay, it depends on the path followed by the process. It depends on the path followed by the process. Say for example, see here, A is converting into B and it is a thermodynamic process. So this path function depend entirely on path. Say for example, work and heat. These are the two examples which depend entirely on path but not upon the state. So what are state functions? What are state functions? So first one is internal energy, which is indicated by U. Internal energy. Okay, internal energy. Second one is enthalpy. We will discuss what are those. Okay, next one is entropy, which is denoted by letter S. Third one is temperature. Okay, third one is temperature. Fourth one is volume. Internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, temperature, volume, etc. These are all state functions, okay, which depend on initial and final states. Okay, so wherever you see there is a change, wherever you see change between initial and final state, that is which is represented by delta, say delta U, delta H, delta T, so on, okay, which is nothing but change in internal energy, enthalpy, temperature. Whenever you see delta symbol, always remember that it is a state function. Okay, always remember it is a state function when you see the delta symbol. And one more, path function. You can take the example of path. So simple, work and heat, these are the path functions. Okay, these are the path functions. Now we will move on to the next topic, that is extensive and intensive properties. So what are extensive and what are intensive? Basically depending on the thermodynamic functions. So these are all, we can say that these are all thermodynamical functions. Okay, so we will discuss about the extensive and intensive properties. So extensive properties are those which depend on mass, okay, whereas intensive properties, these are independent of mass. Okay, so what are the terms which are dependent on mass? Let's see. So directly we can take mass, next one is volume, okay, next one is internal energy, enthalpy, entropy, energy, okay, Gibbs free energy, heat capacity. Okay, I will discuss what is Gibbs free energy, enthalpy, entropy, everything. So no need to worry about that. Now we will come to the intensive properties which are independent of mass. One is pressure, temperature. We know without mass we can, like, see, temperature is thing, next density, concentration, viscosity, surface tension, melting and boiling points, etc. So these are all the variables or the properties which are independent of mass, So these are extensive and intensive properties. Now we will see different thermodynamic process, that is isothermal process, isobaric, isochoric and etc. Before understanding what are the types of thermodynamic processes, first of all I will discuss all these terms. Okay, among these terms, please make a note of it. Among these terms, these four are called as thermodynamic process. Thermodynamic processes. Okay, thermodynamic processes. These are all called as variables. Now we will understand. We know pressure. What is pressure term? Temperature term also we know. Volume term we know. And Q is nothing but heat. Okay, the total heat. Work done. Okay, see what is work done basically? The amount of work done depending upon the conditions is nothing but work done. There is nothing much about it to discuss. Okay, next one is internal energy. Now what is internal energy? So every molecule, so when we talk about chemistry, when we see in chemistry, so every molecule has some potential. Okay, some potential. That molecules will not be stable, they are continuously moving from one place to another randomly. So that randomly moving, where does that energy comes and what is that energy? That energy is nothing but internal energy. The amount of energy possessed by a particular thing is nothing but the internal energy. So every molecule contains certain amount of energy. That energy is nothing but internal energy. And what about next one? Enthalpy. It is called enthalpy. Okay, the total heat content present in the system. It is not, see, this is the heat and this is the total heat content present. Totally different, these two terms are. Okay, they look similar but not similar. Enthalpy is the total heat content present in the system. And see, here see, H1 and H2, initial and final. So we cannot exactly measure the enthalpy. We cannot exactly measure the enthalpy of a particular system. We can only see the difference between them. That is, we can only calculate delta H. We can only calculate delta H, that means change in the internal energy. We can only see the change in the internal energy. Okay, that is about the enthalpy. Next one, entropy. Entropy is the measure of randomness. So in a class, if for example 40 students are there, if the 40 students are sitting in sequence, then the entropy is 0. Okay, they should be in disorder. That means entropy is the measure of disorderness. Okay, entropy is the measure of the disorderness. We will see entirely different way of expressing this entropy in the preceding class. Okay, next G, it is called as Gibbs free energy. Gibbs free energy. This also I will discuss. Okay, this also I will discuss later. So these are the terms. Now we will jump on to the thermodynamic process. First one is isothermal process. So now we will see the first thermodynamic process, which is nothing but isothermal process. Isothermal process. So the name itself is indicating isothermal, that is temperature is kept constant. Temperature is constant. So see, we got the equation which is nothing but PV is equal to nRT, which is ideal gas equation. Now we have kept temperature constant. That means R also universal gas content constant, and we keep number of moles also constant. So the entire term will be constant. We can say PV is equal to constant, right? PV is equal to constant, and pressure is inversely proportional to volume. Pressure is inversely proportional to volume. Now if we plot a graph against volume and pressure, so if pressure increases, volume definitely decreases. So the graph is like this. The graph is like this. Very simple, no? So one point you have to remember is we kept temperature constant, but what about the change in temperature? That is delta T would be 0 for isothermal process. There is no net exchange of heat, that is delta T is equal to 0. So one point you have to remember is we cannot achieve a perfect isothermal process. So if the process is carried out very slowly, then we can achieve nearly isothermal process. And this isothermal process obeys Boyle's law. That is important point. It obeys the Boyle's law. So we cannot perfectly bring the isothermal process. We should carry the entire process very slowly. Then only we can achieve this process. And delta T is 0. We should remember. The temperature, if we keep the temperature constant, then the change in the temperature would also be 0, right? Okay. Next process we should see is isobaric process. Let's see isobaric process. So isobaric process is pressure is kept constant. So if pressure is kept constant, then change in the pressure would be delta P would be 0. Change in pressure would be 0. At that condition, we know that PV is equal to nRT. If pressure is kept constant, then volume will be directly proportional to temperature. And if you plot a graph against volume and temperature, it is a straight line. Volume and temperature, it is a straight line. Next, we will move on to the adiabatic process. Adiabatic process. Adiabatic process where heat is kept constant, that is delta Q would be equal to 0. So there is no exchange of heat. So when does this happen? We cannot achieve perfect adiabatic process, but we can achieve very nearly when the process is carrying out in a very fast way. That means the process should be occurring very rapidly, very fast. Then only we can achieve adiabatic process. Okay. So rapid cooling by adiabatic change. Have you heard that name? That means by conducting the process very fast, we can achieve the rapid cooling by adiabatic process.